channel. In this week's video, I will be talking about myself. I've realized that I haven't properly introduced myself, like ever. Like I have done bits and pieces here and there where I'll talk about some part of myself or life, and I'll post it on my Instagram stories or a little bit on the blog, but I never properly introduced myself. And you know, when I was thinking about what to do in terms of recording a video for this week, I realized that, you know, it'd be good to introduce myself before I started delving into vlogs and book reviews and stuff like that. So yeah, so this video is basically all about this girl right here, and yeah, so let's get to it. So who am I? That's a very, it's not easy talking about yourself, I guess. Anyways, so my name is Fatima. I have been blogging for on and off for I guess 4 years, but really blogging for the past year and a half. So I've graduated with a bachelor's in commerce, and while I was doing that, I missed working in the creative realm. I was always taking courses like accounting, finance, and really didn't have an outlet where I would be able to do whatever I wanted creatively. So I guess that's how the blog started. But really the main reason the blog started was because I was learning web design at the time, and I wanted a site, kind of like a mock-up site, where I would experiment with all the things that I was learning. So that's how this blog site was actually created. I would just use it as like a platform where I would like experiment with coding and other stuff that I was learning, and then I would apply whatever I learned from the site on actual projects. So initially it was just a mock-up site, and because I had a mock-up site anyway, so I thought, why not have fun with it? So I would do some outfit shots, blog posts, or some other sort of reflections, journals and stuff, or some travel diaries, but not really something that I was thinking of strategically. So anyways, so I started this blog when I was doing my undergrad. It was more of a site at the time, and then as soon as I graduated, I just found my actual job that I just dove into right after graduation. I didn't really take any time off. I was actually still in school when I got the job offer, and I just took it on the spot. I was very grateful at the time, and yeah, so as soon as I graduated, I just started working as a social media marketing coordinator. And while I was working, I enrolled in another full-time course or program. It was my second degree in Bachelor of Design. And for the first 2 years after graduating with my commerce degree, I was just juggling school full-time doing design and working in marketing full-time. So I didn't really work on my blog at all. Like I always did have this, I always had this thing where I did want to blog because I was following a lot of bloggers, and I was like, that life looks amazing. I really want to do something creative with myself, but I never really took it seriously because I was too focused on my school and my full-time job at the time, and a lot was going on, and I was moving, so I was like, yeah, it's not. Anyways, I did that for a year and a half, something like that, and I started feeling not that great, honestly. I was not happy. I was, you know, when I was in school studying business, I was telling myself that, you know what, just push yourself through this. Once you graduate, everything's gonna be all peachy. And now that I was here, I was like, nothing is peachy though. So I kind of felt like a liar, and I betrayed myself, I guess. I kind of felt that. So I was like, no, I need to do something. So I quit my job and found another one right after, actually, and which was more into social media. So I thought, you know what, maybe this is more niched. Instead of just doing marketing in general, I'm actually doing social media, and this is something I really want to do. So I did that. But then 3 months later, wasn't working out, and I was like, no, this is not it. So I actually quit my job and took a break for a good month or two, and that's when my Instagram was born. So while I was off or in transition or trying to figure out what I wanted to do professionally, I just started taking pictures, posting on Instagram, just doing it for the sake of it. And honestly, I actually miss those days because there was no like pressure or expectation. I would just take pictures of anything and everything. There was no theme or niche, and it was awesome. And I was like, you know what, I want to do this, but then I still didn't really think of it as something I wanted to do professionally. So after a month or two of doing that, I found another job, was still in marketing, and I was happy because I was like, you know what, I took 2 months off, it's amazing, it's great, so let's just go back to it and just work like everybody else. And I did that, and it was great for the first few months, actually the first year I think. And then after that 1 year finished, I started feeling the same thing, like I was in a rut again and I was not happy. And that was also a time where I moved to downtown Toronto. So I really wanted to explore the city more, but because I was working outside the city, I didn't have the opportunity to do that, because by the time I'd come back home from work, I'd be too tired. And so basically I was just living for the weekends, and I wasn't having that. I was like, no. So yeah, so abruptly quit my job, took another month off or two, and again, I guess if you were following me, you must have noticed a, you know, kind of like a peak where I was like posting every day again, exploring the city, and it was amazing. It was one of the best summers I ever spent. And then after a month or so, again, I was not really thinking of it professionally, so I just found another job. And this was actually, if I'm being honest, the best job out of all the jobs I've had. Had a lot of autonomy, it was very creative, it was in a startup, so the environment was great, it was flexible, and I could do whatever I wanted. It was fun, I was doing a lot of experiments, and again, it was social media, so I was really enjoying it. And so yeah, so I did that for 1.5 years, I think, as long as I've stuck into a job. And it's just so happened that towards the end of it, or like before I left, I started feeling like I was getting back in that rut again, with that feeling of being uninspired again. And I was like, great, it's happening again. I don't know what to do, but I was really pushing it. And then all of a sudden, the startup I was working for decided to take a break because they were focusing more on getting investments and stuff. So they told us all to just take a break for a little bit. So while I was on the break, I decided that, you know what, I really want to give my creative studio and my blog a chance. Like, I keep coming back to the same spot, keep coming the same spot where I'm like uninspired, not happy where I am. I started, you know, having this bad relationship with myself where I'm like having this conversation with myself where I'm saying, you know, you said things are gonna get better, things are gonna be more fun, this is not fun, you lied to me, yada yada. And then I'll go into this whole like I guess a ditch of darkness and depression. I was not happy, so I decided that, you know what, I've tried everything, I've tried different jobs, it's not the job, it's just me. I really need to focus on this, and let's just say worst case scenario, this doesn't work out, I can always go back to a full-time job, but I really need to give this a chance. So last summer, I actually quit my job, told them I'm not coming back, and I moved back west because when I quit my job, I realized that, you know, maybe I can't really afford being in Toronto anymore. Plus, I really needed someone who could help me out with my projects too, and everyone in Toronto was already busy with their day jobs and stuff, so it wasn't really working out. When I initially started blogging, was actually my mom who would take my pictures and stuff, and because she's not working, she's retired, she just chills at home. So she was more than happy to help me. So I decided to just move back. And I was really happy that I did, because I really miss being with my mom. Me and my mom are very, very close. So actually moving back was actually something, you know, it was a good idea. Even though at the time I was getting anxiety attacks thinking that, you know, maybe I'm going backwards, not forwards. I quit my job, now I'm moving back with my mom who does that. I'm moving back to the suburbs after living downtown for a few years. So I was having all these thoughts, but I pushed through. I moved last September, and the first few months were kind of tough. I was adjusting, I was still full-time school, so I was still doing school, I was still commuting downtown. So I didn't really feel like I moved out much. If anything, I felt like I made things harder for myself because now I'm actually driving for an hour. So yeah, so the first few months were a bit tough, but honestly after, you know, going to San Francisco for a week and then going to Mexico, just traveling again, or being able to travel again, I realized that, traveling was something I missed a lot more, and I was not doing it while I was in Toronto because I was just so caught up with paying my bills and stuff like that. Created kind of like a small little prison, which was very pretty and nice and made of gold and stuff. It was still a prison because I was not traveling, because I was just paying my bills, going out every day, eating out, drinking. So yeah, I was just living paycheck to paycheck. So I was like, you know what? It was actually a good idea that I moved back because now I'm actually traveling. And my trip to Mexico was really, really enlightening because it really reminded me why I wanted to do all this in the first place. So yeah, so it was not until October or November that I started feeling myself again. And it was around that time that I really wanted to, reflect, think about where I want to go, what I want to do. But it was actually last month where I realized that, instead of just thinking about what I want to do, where I want to go, I have to really focus on why I want to do all this in the first place. That was something I was not thinking about in the past, and that's why I guess I was coming back to the same point where I was feeling unmotivated, uninspired. Like one day I'll be like, I'm just gonna do fashion outfits, shots and stuff, and then after a few months I'll be like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Or I'll be doing that, I want to do more artsy stuff, more deep stuff, and then again after a few months I'll be like, man, I don't want to do this. Because I guess I was just focusing on what I want to do, or more so like what I want others to see, as opposed to thinking about why I want to do this. At the end of the day, it's the why that really matters. I do want to talk about this more in detail, but I'll do that in the next video, not in this one. So yeah, so anyways, so this last month I figured out the why, and that's when I started like changing my routine, my intentions. I slowly started changing the direction of the blog or my Instagram. I launched the channel for videos finally. Even my creative studio went through a lot of changes because I figured out the why. And so right now I feel like I want to do more of, in terms of the blog, I want to do more of, personal stuff, myself. I feel like in the past I was so caught up with the, creating a persona, kind of like an image of either like I want people to think of me as an artist, so I'm an artist, that's it, nobody else, or I want others to see me as a fashion blogger who's always, her outfit's always on point, or maybe a photographer, So I want to step away from that. I just want to be Fatima. I just want to be me. So even if that means that I'm just having, brunch at home in my pajamas, that's who I am, and I want to post about that. I want to, if one day I want to feel, I feel a bit artsy and I want to do something artsy stuff, I want to be able to post that. Fashion, travel, so I want to be more transparent from now on, I guess. I want my blog and Instagram and YouTube, Pinterest, all of it to reflect of who I am, because I feel like I've never really truly connected myself to the blog or you guys, and I really want to change that. So that's the direction I'm taking the blog and myself in the future right now, moving forward, is to show you or everybody, or just me, myself too. I guess I think in a way I was hiding from myself too, where I'm like, no, this is not who I am, this is who I am, and picking pieces of me that I wanted to show and hiding the other parts. So I don't want to do that anymore. I want to just, just be me, whole in general. I am an artist, I am a photographer, I am a person, I am someone who loves styling, I'm someone who loves taking pictures, exploring, eating. I love eating, so I want to do that too. I want to show myself in general. So that takes me to my next thing that I want to talk about in terms of, where I'm going. So when I was in high school, I was doing a lot of art, but I was doing all kinds of art. So painting, drawing, photography, everything. And then I became this person who was always all about niches, because everyone tells you to pick a niche and stick to it, specialize. And I kind of fell prey to that. So I picked my niche and I was like, photography and design, that's it. So I want to change that too. I'm an artist all around, so I want to do that. I want to paint, I want to draw, I want to get back to the basics and explore myself artistically in every way without constraining myself. So yeah, so I recently got into ceramics, pottery, and I've been taking a few courses once a week, and it's been going, it's okay. Still getting a hang of it, but I guess Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So yeah, so I'm getting into that. I'm getting back to painting, and all my arts creations are gonna be a big part of my shop too. That's going to be launching later in spring. So yeah. So anyways, I was looking for a lot of studio paint spaces close to myself. I couldn't really find any, and I finally found the perfect studio, but was on waiting list till September. So I was like, great, wait till September. I was still happy. It was great, but yesterday, or day before, I was told that there's an opening, and I went and checked it out yesterday, and it's gorgeous. It's like a dream, and I am so excited to start. I actually start March 1st, which is actually here. Yeah, I just hit me. Wow. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm moving in a day or two. So by moving, I mean studio, not my living space. And I'm hoping to do a tour of it soon. So stay tuned for that. And in addition to the studio, it's not just a studio space, it's actually more of a community of artists who are also into pottery and other arts. The person who runs it is actually offering his mentorship. It's not just, you know, renting out the space. It's kind of like a whole thing, like a community of 6 or 7 artists working in the same space, helping each other out with one mentor who has experience for like decades and decades. He was actually in Japan for 10 years learning pottery and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to learn from him. And the studio space is actually nested in a factory turned co-working space. So there are a lot of other creatives who are in the building too, and they usually have some, you know, sort of like, it's kind of like a collective. They have like lunches and, you know, live drawing sessions together and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to truly connect with the community, because I don't think I've done that ever since I moved back. I was so caught up with, you know, nothing's as great as Toronto, so I'm not even going to try. So I'm changing that. So I'm really connecting with the community, or I'm going to be, and I'm very excited for this. So that's something that you'll be seeing a lot on my blog and Instagram, because I really want to show what's going on in my life. And yes, and I'm hoping to do a tour and more of, you know, time lapses of my art stuff too. So stay tuned for that as well. So anyways, I think I've rambled a lot. I don't want to drag this video on for too long, because I guess it's been too long. So anyways, starting next week, I'll be doing more vlogs and book reviews and more life updates. I will be doing a lot of life updates because I haven't done that in the past, and I feel like I really want to and need to. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching till the end. I know it was a lot. And thank you again for all your support and heartwarming messages. I really feel grateful. And yes, it makes me really happy to be doing what I'm doing. So thank you so much again, and I'll see you next week.